Welcome to Kathy's Eclectic Garden. I'm Kathy and I garden in Zone 6A in Northwest Ohio. And in this video, we're going to talk about my goldenrod. Before we dive into it, I have something to show you. Let's go. And this is what I wanted to show you. This is a field of Canada goldenrod, Solidago canadensis. And there's probably 2 or 3 acres of this in this area. It's about 5 miles from where we live, out in the country. It's not invasive. A lot of people say Canada goldenrod is invasive. It's not. It's a native plant, cannot be invasive. It is very aggressive, but it was here before we were, a long time before we were. So this is its home. I wouldn't recommend planting Canadian goldenrod in your landscape if you have a small lot, or even if you just have like an acre of property, because it is aggressive. It will take over, but it's not invasive. Now here's a close-up of what Canada goldenrod looks like, and you'll see when we get back to the house and show my showy goldenrod up close that it looks a lot like showy goldenrod. Now what we see in this field, this is about 3 feet tall, and I do see some back further in the field that's maybe closer to 4 or 5 feet tall. When in the wild, apparently it doesn't get as tall as what some of the other varieties do. And you can see it has just little small leaves on it, not nearly as big as what my goldenrod at home has. This is my goldenrod. This is tall goldenrod, and this back here is showy goldenrod. I planted this goldenrod 2 years ago, so this is its 3rd year, and that would make it the leap year. And it definitely took a leap because it is above my head and I'm 5'2". Now we're looking at the tall goldenrod, and unlike the showy goldenrod, tall goldenrod has large basal leaves. And as you come up the stem, you can see the tall goldenrod has quite thick stems compared to the showy goldenrod that had very slender stems. And you can see the leaves, while they're elongated, they're not as pointed on the tips, and they're wider than the showy goldenrod. So, now this is a tall goldenrod that is starting to die back. The buds are starting to, or the blossoms are starting to turn brown, and this is where the seed will be forming. Now where the showy goldenrod blooms in cones or panicles, the tall goldenrod blooms more in clusters at the top of the plant. As for the tall goldenrod, the flowers on this species form more of a disc-shaped flower cluster. The smaller bees were swarming all over this plant. I also noticed the tall goldenrod seemed to have a larger variety of insects visiting the plant. Wasps, larger bees, skipper butterflies, soldier beetles, and an ailanthus webworm all made their appearances. Here an ailanthus webworm moth and a couple of bumblebees shared this tall goldenrod flower. Unlike the bees, the ailanthus webworm moth is not a common visitor. I've got 2 patches of showy goldenrod in this little garden. This is the patch that is on the east side, and you can see it is still pretty much in full bloom. This is the showy goldenrod that's on the west side, and it is all going to seed already. So they're planted maybe 6 feet apart, same kind of soil. One bloomed early, one bloomed late. This is a close-up of the showy goldenrod leaves. Notice how slim the leaves are versus the tall goldenrod leaves. Also, the showy goldenrod leaves and Canada goldenrod leaves bear some similarities. This similarity in leaves and the cone-shaped flower heads are 2 reasons why showy goldenrod and Canada goldenrod are often confused with one another. If you research goldenrods versus ragweed, you will discover that it is ragweed, which has green flowers, that is the major cause of fall allergies and not goldenrod. The two plants bloom about the same time and goldenrods always get the blame. Furthermore, goldenrod pollen is too heavy for the wind to carry its pollen through the air. This is the main reason pollinators are able to utilize the pollen. On the other hand, ragweed pollen is much lighter and is easily spread around by the wind. With that said, in rare cases it may be possible for very few people to be allergic to goldenrod, but they would have to come in contact with the pollen directly. The flowers on the showy goldenrod form a cone-shaped flower cluster. It is often covered with many different species of bees and other pollinator insects in the fall after many other plants have died back. On this particular afternoon, there seemed to be more pollinator activity on the showy goldenrod. I have noticed for the most part the larger bees and wasps tend to prefer the showy goldenrod. Just look at how busy just this one stalk of showy goldenrod is. For comparison to the showy goldenrod, here is a July 4th video of how busy sea holly is in the summer. After the sea holly is done, the later blooming goldenrod takes over in popularity for the bees. I will link to the sea holly video I did, which tells you more about the sea holly in my garden. Not only do the bees and tiny wasps, specialist bees and bumblebees like my goldenrod, but the spiders like it too. Well, I just had to stop and show something to you. This is my first time ever growing loofah gourds, and I didn't realize I had a loofah gourd on here already. We were walking around to the back side of the goldenrod, and there it was. So it's been there for a while because it's getting to be pretty good size. I see some smaller ones up towards the top, and I've still got more blooms on it. I will leave you with this shot of showy goldenrod. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye.